Hello, bestie. Happy book club day. Welcome to the Best Friend Book Club podcast. I'm so happy you made it. Today, she's back again. It's Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea.
Your favorite. No, I'm just kidding.
Today's episode is going to be a little different than normal. So we're just going to be diving into some Fourth Wing theories and like what we think could happen in Iron Flame. It's September, so we haven't read Iron Flame. This is just a bunch of guessing, like just for fun.
Just for fun and also serious because I'm dying to know what's gonna happen.
So we're gonna take turns with like the theories that we have, and so I'll just start off.
Okay.
Ready?
Let's hear it.
I've mentioned this before, but I'm convinced that all of the marked ones have a second signet power. And so I think Xaden's is the ability to read minds. Like, I think he can read minds, but he doesn't need to touch you like Dain claims to need to touch you. Right?
Okay.
And so... Okay. So...
Okay, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Why do you think that they have a second signet? Like, where does this come from?
Well, because they have, like, the relic that was given to them, like, by the dragon when they were all,
you think
like...
it's from the relic. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Because I'm like, where would this come from? Okay.
So there's a part in, like, the final battle scene where... Oh my god, wait. I forgot to say, there's going to be spoilers. Didn't know if I needed to say that. But there's going to be spoilers. Yes. If you haven't read Fourth Wing. Carrying on.
Yeah, don't. Right.
So there's a part in the final battle scene where Liam starts wielding ice, which isn't his power. Like, his power is to see things that are far away.
Wait, I don't remember that.
Page 463. Pull it up. He's flying above Violet, and it says that, like, he shoots ice, but it's like that's not his signet. Oh, here it is. Okay, found it. Okay, page 463 is about, like, halfway down where it says, like, excellent idea. And then it says, Taryn puts us into position, hovering about 20 feet above ground, as Liam flies for the griffins above us, wielding spears of ice into the injured wyvern's throat.
How did I miss that?
I missed it the first time when I read it, and then again when I listened to it. But when I read it, like, the physical copy, the third time, it said Liam wielded ice. I said, hold on a second. That's not his power.
Okay, so now I can build on the Xaden reading minds thing. I saw someone at Fantasy Fangirls Pod and also at the Red Receipts podcast. Okay, they both said that they think that Xaden is intrinsic.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But specifically at Fantasy Fangirls Pod, they talked about Violet always talking about her scalp prickling.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, so they thought it only happened after they bonded with their dragons, but she had receipts on many times before the what's it called when they bond their dragons? But
threshing?
When she's the threshing, gosh, my brain. The threshing, when she says that her scalp was prickling, and she thinks that every time that happens, he's reading her mind, kind of like in ACOTAR when she says the talons caressing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I just don't want to spoil any ACOTAR for anybody that hasn't read it.
Sorry. Yeah, pause. But that kind of theory. So she said her scalp was prickling, and then she said there's a time when they're on the parapet when they very first meet, and she says the hairs stand up on the back of her neck.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that she was reading his minds. Or she said it might just be their bond and their fated mates. Or yeah, and I know that your Katie
said that, yeah.
She's like convinced they're gonna be
fated mates. Yes.
And then she said, or it could be just every time his shadows notice her, like when his shadows are around her scalp prickles. But I don't know, because now that you said that about Liam,
they have to have two abilities, because like they were given this physical this physical mark by a dragon. So now they all have these rebellion relics. But that physical mark, I think, gave them another power. So that whole thing with Liam wielding ice, I was like, this just solidified it. Xaden has 2 powers. Liam has 2 powers.
It just blew my mind.
And then another thing is that, like, when Violet is talking about, like, at the end when she's like, well, I would have been able to tell if Dain was reading my mind. And Xaden was like, no, you wouldn't. I was like, oh, because Xaden's been reading your mind this whole time. That's why.
But then I also had somebody else say that they don't think that Xaden would do that because it's not his character.
Yes,
like,
it is.
He's too... I think that we don't know enough about his character.
Like,
we don't know enough about him.
He's very secretive. Been keeping a secret that your brother's alive.
Rebecca Yarrow said, and I know everybody's like scratching for more Xaden point of view, but she already said in an interview, she's not giving it to us.
Yeah.
She said she can't give us more Xaden POV until he stops keeping secrets. So why do you guys put him on this high pedestal? I mean, I know we love him. We love him. I love him. Xaden. But however, we don't know enough about him yet to say that he would or would not do that.
Like, he kept the secret of, first of all, your brother's alive and I'm, like, good friends with him. That's a pretty big thing. And then also, like, we're supplying the Griffin flyers with weapons. That's a pretty big thing to be keeping a secret.
And he should have told her that before they went on that mission. Yeah. Like, the way she found out, yeah, I'd be mad too.
Yeah.
Could you imagine how scared she was in that moment? When she looked around and she realized, like, everyone is a marked one. Like, how did she not put that together at first?
I don't know, because he was putting together the team and I was like, something's not adding up
here. Okay. So,
do you want to go next?
Yes.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. So we're gonna lean into Brennan being alive.
Okay.
Who knew? Mira knew?
Do you think Mira knows?
So I don't know, but I saw a theory.
Go ahead.
That said that Mira knew, and that her and Brennan are on opposite sides. Like, Brennan is in the rebellion, revolution, whatever, and Mira is fighting against it, and she told Violet to stay away from Xaden because she knew, and she didn't want Violet to join the wrong side of the rebellion, or the opposite side of the rebellion.
Interesting. Because...
And that was... Who was that? Josephina Ray Author said that.
Interesting. I feel like Mira just doesn't know what's going on. Like, primarily because she could still know about Brennan, but when she was like, oh yeah, I thought I saw some dragons over there. That's kind of weird. So I don't think she knows that Wyvern and Venom exist. But wasn't she the one... Because she gave Violet the
book.
The book, but I think it's because Violet just, like, really wanted it. I don't think Mira knew.
I don't think that Mira, after telling her that she couldn't have that book, after telling her you need to focus on staying alive, like, that was her main goal. Focus on staying alive. If I want you to focus on staying alive, why would I give you a book that could possibly distract you? Unless that book is needed. See, and this is where I go back and forth with, I don't know who's good and who's bad. It's the same thing with Mom.
Don't get me started on her mom.
I am really riding the fence because there's so much that points to her being a bad guy, a villain, but also there's just little things that would be like, is she good? But I have a crazy theory.
Okay.
About her mom. No, go ahead, because it's wild, and you're gonna be like, okay, sit down.
So this is about her mom, but I was on the fence until I was like started putting together the points as to like why I'm on the fence, and then I was like, actually, I think her mom's on her side.
Okay, talk me
So,
through it.
Okay, her mom definitely knows that venom exists.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
That's no contest. Yes.
The question is, does she know if Brennan's alive?
I think that she knows that he's alive. Since the very first time I read the book, I picked up on it. I was not even annotating my first go around, and I highlighted this part so hard because it said
Mm-hmm.
that when he died, she showed no emotion.
Okay.
None.
Because she knew he wasn't actually dead,
That's
is
what
what you're
I'm
saying.
thinking. Yes.
Okay.
I think she knew all along. But I can't
Okay.
decide if she was comforted by the idea that he was still alive and he was helping with the revolution, or if she was so pissed off about him being a traitor that she was like, he's dead to me. But I think that she knew he
Okay.
was alive, without a doubt.
Okay. I see where you're going.
You know what I mean? Like, she just burned all
Yeah.
his stuff. She didn't blink an eye. Like, I know that that's their way, but like, that one, that's your son. And two, like, it was described that he was like her favorite,
Yeah.
essentially. So it's like, how do you show no emotion?
So I think I think the mom's part of the rebellion, but she's just like their person on the inside. So at like the night that they're like celebrating the death of Zayden's dad, essentially, like I forgot what the night is called.
Oh, God, I can't. There's so many names for stuff. I cannot.
It's okay. But when on that night when it's like the king and Melgren are talking to Violet and they're like, "Oh, where's Zayden?" And she's like, "Oh, he's around somewhere, you know. He doesn't really like partying or whatever, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it's Melgren is like, "Oh, I like to, like look at him like once a year kind of thing."
Mm-hmm.
It's like they keep pushing like, "Oh, hey Violet, you'd let us know if he was like trying to start a rebellion or something, right?" And
Mm-hmm.
then Violet's mom instantly redirects the conversation and she's like, "Oh, here, let's go talk to Dane's dad over here. Oh, it's Dane. That's so crazy." Like it's like
Oh, I missed that.
they keep pushing Violet and being like, "You would tell us if he was doing something right." And before she can answer is when her mom is like, "Oh, have you met Dane?"
Okay. I missed that, but I can see that. The
And
other
I
thing that made me question how good she was these little excerpts that they're putting at the top.
yes,
There's one that confused me so hard. I read it over and over and over again, and I was trying to find it. I can't freaking find it.
I know what you're
But
talking
it's
about though.
the one when she was like, the children shouldn't watch their parents be killed or whatever. And
Yes.
I was like, is this General Sorrengail? Like,
Yes.
I read it so many times. I was so confused because at that point I was convinced she's a villain.
Yeah.
So that one messed me up so bad.
Well, I think she's the one to like make the deal with Zayden
Okay.
so that like he holds the responsibility for everybody else. I think her mom is like a morally gray character. And I just think that, but I do think that she's
Oh.
on Violet's side. And
Okay.
I think it's because like she didn't want to have all of the rebellion children killed. So this was like the compromise that they came up with basically.
Okay. And now I'm gonna backtrack to your initial theory and this one. Okay, so General Melgan's dragon is the one that gave all of them their relics. Okay.
Uh-huh.
General Melgren's signet is to see the outcome of a battle. But
Yep.
after they get their relics, he can't see them. He can't see the outcome of a battle if there's more than 3 of them, and that's why he makes that law.
Yes.
So what if his dragon is pro rebellion
Uh-huh.
and did that intentionally And now you're also saying that they got a signet from that relic. And what if he also did that intentionally, but also made sure that Melgren couldn't see the outcome of a battle? Like, what if his dragon is against him and did
Uh-huh.
that on purpose?
Interesting. Because like you're
Now, I
bonded
can't
so
take credit for
closely
that
to your
because
dragon.
somebody else. Okay, Heidi writes books at Heidi
Okay.
Writes Books. I'm not going to take credit for that. That was all her. But I was like, wait a minute.
I I don't know because I feel like you're I guess like because Taryn knows everything that's going on in Violet's head, but Violet doesn't know everything that's going on in Taryn's
They
head.
can
And Taryn
control it
was
better.
able to keep the secret that, oh, by the way, we've been helping out with this rebellion over here.
They can control it better. And the only time that they couldn't control it or close the door was during that steamy scene thing. And I'll be honest, I don't think that was the dragons. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. You thought it was
I
like
think
Xaden
it's
and Violet?
Xaden and Violet's attraction. I don't think it was the dragons at all. I think her magic kicked in and
Okay.
the bond like overpowered her and they were both like trying to get away from it. But I don't think it was the dragons. I think it was them.
Okay. I could see it.
And that's all me. But I do, because everybody's like, oh, the dragon thing was so weird. And like, yeah, it was weird, but it also gave me the best first kiss scene I think I've ever read.
Ever?
I think so.
Damn.
It was just
Okay.
so. I love an intense whisper moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that. It was so tense, but it was so calm. Like, cataclysmic. I was like, oh, I love that. So yeah, I think it's the best one. But I don't think it was the dragons. I think it was their attraction to each other. And I
That would
think
make
that it's
sense.
possible that they could be fated mates if that's a thing.
I could see it. I wouldn't be mad at
Yeah.
all.
No. And he's not a Tamlin.
Okay, I was literally just about to bring that up. So I've seen everywhere. Oh my gosh, all of you guys are attached to Xaden, but he's the new Tamlin. Like, I get it because there's like 5 books in the series. However, Tamlin in the first book, like, I liked him. I was like, oh, he's cool. But I wasn't like down bad for Tamlin
No.
reading book 1.
He didn't give us
Oh
anything
my
to be down
god,
bad over.
ACOTAR spoilers. I'm so
Oh, sorry.
sorry. Oh my god.
You're gonna have to put a disclaimer when you post
Yes.
this. Whoops.
Oh. Sorry,
Oops.
guys.
Well, here we are. What I was gonna say to build on that, I mean, we've already said it. So, anyways.
Yeah, so ACOTAR spoilers. So sorry, guys.
Okay,
Skip
so I
ahead
did see
like
a
a
post.
minute and a half.
Right. So, well, I'm not gonna say anything that wasn't already said, but I
Okay.
did see a post. Well, maybe
Okay.
I don't know. So I did see a post that was like everybody thinks that Xaden is gonna be Tamlin. Okay, now this one is not gonna make sense to me and you, but I'm gonna build on it. So they said,
Okay.
but what if he's actually Dorian from Throne of Glass?
Oh, I
So we don't get
neither
that.
one of us have read Throne of Glass. We have no clue.
But now I'm like, I gotta read that so I can understand.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do
getting
it.
there. We're getting there. We need a palate cleanser after, and then we'll get into it. But
Yes.
I think Dain is Tamlin. I mean,
That's what
we
I was saying
already.
too.
But here's my thing. Everybody's like, no, because it all happened in the same book. But I think that Dain, when Violet comes back, I think he's gonna be so pissed off that he's gonna start acting like Tamlin in books 2, 3.
I
I think he's about to
okay.
go nuts. And
Well,
like,
so I think that it's gonna be kind of more of like a love triangle situation where hold on and hear me out. I'm not Team Dane. Let me make that very crystal clear. Like I am not Team
I
Dane.
came across
However,
someone who was.
what?
The fuck is wrong with you? in a comment somewhere, they were like, honestly, Dain is the much better choice. I was like, wait, what?
To each their
Anyways.
own. Anyways, I feel like, okay, so we're gonna kind of be all over the place here, but so in the Iron Flame excerpt from the Today Show, Dain is the new wing leader because he's giving the same speech that Xaden was giving in this book, where he's like, half of you are gonna die this time next month or whatever, like that whole thing.
Or that day.
So I think because he's wing leader now, he has like he's gonna have some kind of power over Violet. I think there's gonna be something happening. Xaden would have graduated already, although we get no Xaden in this excerpt, which was like so messed up. I said, "What the hell?"
But in the blurb,
Yes,
he was kind of mentioned. So
yes, but I could see it going either way. I could see it being like a love triangle where it's kind of like she's seeing.
Though?
Hold on, because she's seeing more of Dain because Xaden would have graduated, so she's seeing Dain more often, and him being like, I could see him saying that he never took a single memory from Violet, and he took them all from Liam when they were sparring.
Right, which has been discussed many times.
Which
I don't think he can. I think Violet has a strong shield and that he wasn't getting anything from her.
I could see how he got everything from Liam, especially because like so shortly after he sparred with Liam, it was like almost instant. Whereas like if he was getting these pieces from Violet the whole time, I don't think that would have like
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone
he's such a bitch boy that he would have told the first time he caught a bad memory. I think he would have snitched. So I don't think there's any way he was doing it the whole time.
Someone had commented on one of my videos talking about Dain and basically saying that like if he makes the argument like I wouldn't invade your privacy like that, like I could see. But what if he actually didn't? Like what if he never did that and it was all from Liam? But he still wouldn't have stepped in when like to save her from anything. So like I'm not saying he's a great guy. That's not what I'm getting at. I could just see like him starting to redeem himself.
But also, there's no argument. Nobody better argue with this. Because I'll argue back. There's no argument that he knew what they were going into when he told her goodbye. And he said, I'll miss you. There's no argument that he knew.
So you're saying he
what
knew.
They were going. That last mission
of
the war games, when they were sent off to die, he knew.
And he was like, oh, I'll miss you, Violet. Oh, yeah. He
knew.
most definitely
knew. She cannot be so naive. The only way that I see her forgiving Dain and we get a possible love triangle is the Imogen erasing memories thing.
Okay, let's run it back. Okay. So
Imogen can erase memories. That's her signet. Right?
Yes, that's one of them because she's a marked one. So we don't know what the other one is, but that's one of them.
Ooh, that theory has me going so crazy right now. I cannot wait to see what the other ones are. And so she can erase memories.
Yes. And so they have like they talk about those crystals that are used to amplify magic. Okay. It's like near where they ended up taking Violet at the end of Fourth Wing. So the theory would be that she would I can't remember where I saw it. It was somewhere on TikTok.
I don't remember where I saw it either.
But it was that like
we were talking about it, but I don't remember where I saw it.
It would be that Imogen would use these crystals to amplify her magic to erase Violet's memory before sending her back to Basgiath. So that if he were to try to take her memories, there is nothing in there. Like it's just store's closed. There's nothing going on up there.
Because my number one question after finishing Fourth Wing was how in the world are they going to go back to school?
Yeah. How?
That was my number one question. Most concerning. I didn't think there was any possible way they were going back. I thought we were about to go into war. Like the next book was going to be going into war.
Straight up war.
War. But then the blurb came out and she's going back to school. So now I'm like, how? But then it was the theory that you brought up that Imogen erased her memory so she could go back. So then I was like, well, if she erased her memories, then she doesn't remember all the stuff that Dain did.
Uh-huh.
And so, of course, she's going to be like, oh, that's my best friend, and I was in love with him.
But you also said, when I said this to you the first time, you were like, well, what if she also takes the good parts of Xaden? And so all she remembers is
the bad that he wanted to kill
trust
her.
Xaden. He wanted to kill you. Like 51st Date style of like wouldn't be able to remember.
What a great reference.
I love that movie.
Me too. But okay, yeah, I remember I said that now. Oh, freak. I forgot I said that.
I wrote it down, so don't worry.
I remember I was like, wait, what did I say to you that day?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be a good storyline for the romance side of things.
It'll keep it interesting, but like Xaden is still endgame. But like if they're already together, I think, okay, if that doesn't happen, I think it would be like a lot of groveling from Xaden, like almost all of book 2, because Violet's like, you didn't tell me that my brother was alive. That's like a very big secret to keep. Yeah. So,
but then
I do think he's endgame though.
But then also to debunk my theory,
okay,
the blurb says that she has to. Oh, what does the blurb say? That they're trying to convince her to betray the one she loves, or something like that.
She has to betray the man that she loves.
So if she forgets all the good things, then that's easy.
Well, she knows it. But then she knows that she loves him.
Does she though? If she forgets everything?
But we don't know if she forgets anything.
I know, but that's what I'm saying to debunk.
That's just us.
But I'm saying like to debunk my theory. Is that probably can't be the case because that's in the blurb.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
There. Yeah, like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that it's possible that Dain is going to behave like a Tamlin.
Yeah.
And just start making very irrational
her life
decisions.
Very difficult for no reason.
No,
I could see it. I could see it. Do you want to go next?
No, go ahead, because I need to figure out.
Okay. I have 3 maybe left in total. But so.
Okay. Same.
My baby Liam. Okay. I got a couple things.
I wonder if we have the same thing written here.
So recently I started seeing that people think that his sister Sloane is deaf. And that's why he knows sign language. Which I was like, my whole heart. And so this is like kind of like this thing that happened in the blurb for Iron Flame made me think that, because Violet shouts to like get down, but then she physically grabs Sloane and like pushes her to the ground and puts herself over Sloane. And I was like, because Sloane can't hear her shout get down.
Yeah. I think that would be a really good parallel. Like, Violet was so weak, and look what she did, and now here comes Sloane. And I think Sloane is going to be a badass female character.
I really hope so. And then I also... I actually started crying when I read this, especially because, like, the music they had in the background while I was reading the theory, it was on the TikTok. And it was like, imagine Sloane crossing the parapet, like, excited to see her brother. Oh my god, I'm getting chills.
Oh, I just got chills.
Yeah. So excited to see her brother, but then a girl with like silver brown hair hugs her and she says, I'm sorry I couldn't save him, but I promised him I'd save you. Followed up with, I'm Violet. I'm your new shadow.
I'm about to start crying.
I know. I was like, no way. Like, this was on like a Tuesday morning. I said, y'all are doing too much. I can't think about this.
I have literal chills.
Yeah, chills.
Oh my god, I'm going to cry so hard at the beginning of this book. Because they have to introduce each other and she's going to find out. It might not be exactly like that, but essentially...
But someone has to tell Sloane, like, hey, your brother's dead. That's going to be
oh my gosh,
awful.
My heart is breaking. And then what if whoever tries to talk to her doesn't realize that she's deaf? If she's deaf, because obviously we're just theorizing.
I'm I'm gonna go with she's definitely deaf.
I feel
Obviously
like she's
she,
got to be.
but like, why else would Liam know sign language?
Also, we're
Like
going to
it could
talk
have been
about my
like.
ignorance for the signing.
I laughed so hard when you texted me this. Go ahead, tell them
You
what
guys,
happened. Tell them
you
what
guys,
happened.
I was reading Fourth Wing the first time, and then I read it again, and I did not catch this. Every time Liam and Violet went to the
Yesenia.
library, to Senya, and it said that Liam was signing. He signed. I thought it said that he sighed,
Like,
and I kept reading it like that. Like he was like, "Hello, how are you today?" So I was texting her, and I was like, I thought he was breathing hard, and I was like, "Why the heck is he breathing so hard?" And then on my second
oh
read,
my
on my
god.
reread during their second visit to the library, I realized it said signed. He signed. He was doing sign language,
But
guys.
it literally says at one point that he like puts his hands up to sign.
I missed
Like
it.
you were like, man,
I
he's
thought he was
really out
like,
of breath.
right, and she was like, he's flirting, and I was like. I thought the trip down there was just like kicking his butt. Like
Yeah.
maybe the air's different. I don't know.
The air
Yeah.
being different. Oh my god.
That was funny though because I was lost. So like he signed like duh, that makes so much more sense.
But like, so the fact that he knows sign language mixed with the fact that in the excerpt, like Violet has to physically like put herself over Sloane, but that could be just because she's being very protective of Sloane and would rather something happen to her than Sloane. So
Right.
obviously, there's a chance that Sloane isn't deaf, but I think that she is.
I feel like it makes a lot of sense. But also imagine her crossing the parapet and Violet is not the one there. And someone else is trying to talk to her. And they can't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
How is that gonna work?
I
Is
think
she
I think it's going to be very similar to how this person set it up because Rebecca Yarros loves to make us cry. Rebecca Yarros
I'm gonna
loves to
cry
like
so
just
hard.
stab you in the heart and be like, "You're gonna thank me later."
So bad.
I know
So
this
bad.
book is about to like emotionally scar me. Like I'm
Also,
prepared though.
another interview, the one that she did with JLA. I don't know if you saw that. The author
Mm-mm.
from Blood and
Oh.
Ash.
Mm-hmm.
They did an interview together on Instagram Live. She was interviewing JLA about her new book, but she let something slip. That Iron Flame only goes 6 months into the school year.
It's gonna end on another cliffhanger. It has to. There's no way that
It's
she's
in
gonna.
the middle of the school year, yeah.
Yeah, like a huge cliffhanger. Like war is about to happen. Close book.
First of all, did you see how thick it was?
Yeah.
Only 6 months. So much is gonna happen.
Yeah. Uh. I just want to have it in my hands right now. Like,
I know. Well, we already talked about it. First day, no Instagram. We're reading it
no, I'm going to be like missing from Instagram for as long as it takes me to read the book
to get through the
because
book.
I do not want any spoilers.
Yeah. Okay, so keeping with the Liam theme, the Liam theory, I saw one from at the Written Adventure that says that Liam and Soleil are
Um,
coming back.
I yes, I saw that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So they're coming back because they say that they left their bodies. Well, from what we see, they left their bodies on that field, on that battlefield where the Venom were. They did not bury them.
They
That we
buried Liam.
saw.
They buried Liam. Let me pull up my receipts real quick because they definitely it's from Zayden's point of view when they're talking about how they buried Liam.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. Okay,
Wait.
he gave her the carved Andarna, and it
Uh-huh.
says Um, I know I should have, but I couldn't bear to burn it. We laid him to rest yesterday. Well, the others did. I
Yes.
haven't left this room since we got here.
Okay.
Your memory
Yes.
is
Yes.
crazy.
Liam is mentioned, and I'm locked in. I'm like, what? Because I so
Okay.
badly wanted him to be brought back. I wanted so badly for them to be like, oh, just kidding, he's not actually dead. So when he was like, oh, we buried him, I was like, oh.
Well, my theory would have sucked anyways because it said that he came back as something bad.
I saw that. That made me very upset. Like, that made me very upset. And I was like, no, he's too precious of a character to be brought back like that.
Okay. Well,
I mean, he still
there
could,
goes
though.
that. Yeah. Well, I
No,
don't
he
know.
still
It
could be brought back
depends.
as something bad.
I don't know. Something bad. I also read a theory that said that Violet is gonna be corrupt with too much power at some point, and they're gonna
I could
have to
see
like
that.
bring her back. Yeah,
I could see that.
because she's too
For
powerful.
sure.
She's way too powerful. Already with Taryn's power, however you say it, she's too powerful. And then you got to think when you add Andarna's actual signet into the mix, I feel like it's gonna be a lot.
So let's talk about Taryn and Andarna.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about it.
Because I want so badly for, I think I said this before, for when Andarna's, like, the signet that she gets from Andarna to be to reverse time or to, like, just move back in time to, like, save Liam, because I just love Liam so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading this on EmpyreanWriters.com.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's where this theory came from. So,
Oh, I have that bookmarked.
yeah. So it basically was saying that they think that Taryn is a placeholder for Andarna. And so the reason that Taryn bonded Violet, let me explain the theory first and then I'll tell you how I feel about it. So
Okay.
that Taryn bonded Violet because Andarna wasn't, like, strong enough to bond Violet, right? And that Taryn's rider isn't actually dead, and that Naolin is still alive somewhere, and that Andarna, once she's fully grown, is gonna be Violet's dragon, and then Taryn is gonna go back to being Naolin's dragon. I don't think that's what's gonna happen, simply because Taryn is such a big part of the story of, like, him being Violet's dragon, to then be like, oh, just kidding, he's actually Naolin's dragon still. Didn't make sense to me.
No, and I think that Naolin is dead.
I think he is too.
I don't think he's still alive. It would be crazy. Like, it was enough to make Brennan not be dead, and he's still there. But both of them, I feel like that would just be a stretch and a lot.
I agree. I I think Brennan being alive was, like, a really big deal, and, like, that's all that it's gonna be. Like, but I saw another TikTok about this theory that, like, Basgayeth is trying to, like, cover up the fact that you can resurrect people, and, like, they know that you can, but it's, like, nowhere in the archives or anything, because they're the ones that are rewriting history. The thing that Violet's dad said about, like, it just takes one generation, basically.
Yeah, to erase history. So
Yeah.
to build on that, I saw something that said that, remember how they said less and less dragons are bonding each year?
Yes.
So there was a theory that the dragons know that leadership is corrupt and they're not giving the
Oh.
writers enough information, the right information. And so essentially the dragons are like, we're not bonding with them. Like, we're not going to bond with ignorant, ill prepared writers. And it's not the
Yeah.
writer's fault, it's leadership. So I saw that theory too.
Well, okay, and
Um,
this reminds me of the conversation that you and I had last time, where I was talking about how I didn't like that if the rider dies, that the dragon will be fine, but if the dragon dies, that they both die.
yeah,
Because I was like, Liam literally was not hurt,
he
but
was
he had
not
to die
hurt.
because the dragon died.
It made
And
it that
so
much harder.
the point you made, it did make it that much harder because it's like, he's fine. There's literally nothing wrong with him.
Fine.
But the point you made when we were talking about this, like, made so much sense.
Yeah, because
Do you,
dragons live like hundreds of years. So if the right, it doesn't. I'm sorry. I know where you're going with it, and I agree. It sucks that it's one sided, but
uh-huh.
like, could you imagine the dragons are supposed to live hundreds of years, but like a human life is like, well, probably in their world, less than 70, 80, because
Yeah.
all the danger they're in. So then dragons are just dying off left and right. And they're that much harder to breed. Like, there's not baby dragons everywhere you look.
Yeah, exactly. No, it made
So
so much sense. Like, it, you said that and I was
it
like,
hurt.
yeah.
It hurt. I'm sorry. But yeah, we can't have that. It has to be one sided. Or not sided at all. Like, they could just not die.
That really hurt my feelings. Like, Liam's death,
It
I
did. It hurt so bad.
I cried. I was ugly crying. It was really bad.
It hurt. And then the second time, it hurt worse.
Yes, because you pick up, because Liam isn't really introduced as like a main character in the book
Not at
until
first, yeah.
like 250 pages into the book. So
Right.
it's been a while, and then he shows up and you're like, oh, her shadow, whatever. But you pick up on so many other things. Like when he said, she was like, oh, what did you want to be when you grew up? And he said alive. I was like,
It hurt. It hurt. The second time around, the second time I was reading it, I closed the book and I was like bawling my eyes out and I just curled up and I was like, I'm not okay.
Yeah, I am not okay after reading that book.
I'm not okay. Everybody around me is like, why would you do that to yourself again? Like, why not?
Because it was still a really great book.
Great
It just
book.
emotionally damaged
so
me.
Bad.
I started minor ACOTAR series spoilers, but after I finished ACOWAR, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, I'm not gonna no details of what happened in it. I started a new shelf on my Goodreads called Emotional Damage for whenever a book made me cry.
No, that book emotionally damaged me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one's on there. Like, any book that ever made me cry is on my emotional damage.
Well, yeah. But see, with this one, this was one time that just hurt so bad. But ACOWAR, I felt like I was crying the whole book.
It was several different times that it happened. This one was like the one that like really got you.
Yeah.
But that one had too many scenes.
And over and over again. Like, I had a box of tissue the whole time I was reading it. Like, I was not okay. Alright.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I feel like I just have one more. But
okay,
it's like a big one and a popular one.
Okay.
But I also might go all the way out of left field with it.
Okay, let's do it.
So, wait, Violet Silver Hair.
Did you ever talk about her mom? You said you had like a crazy one about her mom? Did we talk about it?
I said I had a crazy one about her mom? During the episode? Or before?
Yes, no, while we were filming.
Shoot.
I think so.
I just said that I can't tell if her mom is good or bad. You guys, I'm sorry.
Were like...
Then I was like, what?
Never mind. Go ahead.
So, Violet Silver Hair. Everybody's talking about it.
Yes.
Everybody thinks that she's part Venom. How do you feel about it?
So, okay, I've talked about this before. But I feel like her mom was trying to channel when she was pregnant. And that's why Violet looks like that. I don't think that makes Violet necessarily part Venom. But I think her mom was doing some shady stuff while she was pregnant with Violet.
Okay. Thoughts? I can see that. I can see that. I don't know. I've heard two different possibilities. And I think both are good options. And then I took one of those and stretched it. Okay, so
Okay.
her mom was channeling while she was pregnant.
Okay.
I get that. It would explain the loss of color. It would explain why she is brittle and weak, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then the other one is that her mom obviously had an affair, fell in love, whatever, with a venin. And that
What?
Violet. Have you not heard this?
No?
Okay.
Wait,
Well, that
back up.
not fell in love, but like had an affair with a venin. Maybe.
Uh-huh. I've
Oh
literally
no.
never heard this. No,
Oh my
sorry. I
gosh, you're
don't know
gonna
how
make
I
me
never heard
find
this.
it. Okay, so the theory is that she's part
Wild.
villain. You're like going crazy right now. The theory is that she's part venin. Obviously, that only happens one way. So, you know, so it's that she's part villain, venin or whatever. I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
find it and send it to you. But
Okay.
so I'm like, okay, that's possible. I guess we don't know much about venin. We know that they are violent and that they're powerful and that they act a little crazy, but they might behave just like other people and have emotions, urges, desires, just like other people. So it's a possibility. We don't know enough about them.
Not Violet's mom in like a monster romance with a venin.
Listen, okay? So listen.
Oh my gosh.
So this would support the theory that Violet's mom is a bad guy because what I think, well, I'm not going to say what
Mm-hmm.
I think. Another possibility that popped into my head that could be all the way crazy is that Violet could be part venin, but not her mom's daughter. Her dad.
What?
Maybe her dad had an affair with a venin and there was like some secret illegitimate child and that's why her mom dislikes her so much, hates her so much. And then
Okay,
there's also
I'm
theory.
not tracking with that. That
There's
is
also
so
theory. Is it so left field?
yeah, that is like so wild that
I
it's
have to find the
very like
video that she's part venin though.
it's very much like drama that you would see in a contemporary. You know what
Right.
I mean? But like thrown into a fantasy.
Right. I'm gonna find it. But yeah, that was just something because then there's a theory that her mom killed her dad. Um,
Yes, I saw that.
so I'm like, okay, like he knew too much. So again, that supports the theory that her mom is bad, is that he knew too much and she killed him because he was figuring stuff out and he was starting to leave little hints and stuff.
Hmm.
So
Because her dad was also doing that he was like researching feather tails
yes,
and he's the only person to have ever done it, which I thought was interesting. Uh
right,
I think her dad died like some other way. I think
some other
they're
way.
like I don't think that he died. It basically said that like
His heart gave out.
his heart gave out after Brennan died. But I think that he knew Brennan wasn't dead and he died like some other like shady way. Like
You think
he
he knew that
was
Brendan wasn't dead?
yeah.
Okay. Wait, I'm trying to find. I took a screenshot. Okay. So General Sorrengail killed her. This is also at the written adventure. Killed her husband or had him killed. He knew too much about something the government wanted to keep a secret. And then um, it says page 500 when Violet is talking about the book of fables. Every fable in this book is about how too much power corrupts. So maybe he felt like someone in leadership was corrupt. And then it says only after Brennan died did Violet's dad start becoming reclusive and secretive. He either knew Brennan was killed or knew there was an attempt on his life.
Hmm. Interesting.
Interesting.
It's just so hard to say. There's 4 books left. Like, there are 4 more books, so literally anything could happen.
Anything could
And I
happen.
wonder what it's like to be Rebecca Yarros and like see people coming up with these theories of what could happen, and like if they're actually right, if she feels like she has to then like change it.
Change it.
Because like I'm sure with all the theories that
Ooh.
exist that like you can put together the entire
Something
book.
is right. Right.
Some of them have to be correct.
Some of them have to be right.
So I wonder if she looks at those videos and then like
Well, then she just
changes
shouldn't look
it.
at them.
I don't know. I'm just wondering what it's like to be an author of such a widely
Loved.
liked book
Yeah. So
and
I
it
did
not be a
also
completed
see.
series.
Right. So I did also see. She said she wrote a first copy of Iron Flame, and then when she finished it, she didn't like it. She scrapped it. She wrote a second version, gave it to her editor, and then he gave her a whole bunch of notes back. And she said, based on his notes, she just went back to the first copy. So there's technically 2 versions of Iron Flame. So,
Interesting. I could totally see them in like 10 years. Bless you.
oh, excuse me. Thank you.
I could totally see them in like 10 years being like the never before seen copy of Iron Flame. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. I
Okay,
don't know.
I saw this and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. They never recovered Jack's body. Jack Barlow.
Hmm.
The like rocks fall on him and it's assumed that he's dead. Oh, and his
Chill.
dragon.
Chill.
And
Because it
his
took forever for him to die. So if he comes back, I'm going to be pissed.
and his dragon starts like having a reaction. So like you're assuming that he's dead because the dragon is like
Morning.
feeling the death of the
Right.
rider. But someone was like, they never recovered his body, dot, 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 and just left it at that. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I haven't been able to stop thinking about it because it would be so good for him to like come back as villain 2.0 where he's like a Venom. You know? No?
I mean, look, anything is possible. Just fantasy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the author is literally making this shit up. So, it's so possible.
Literally.
But I would be so pissed because it took him forever. Like, there were so many opportunities for him to just be killed. So when he
Yes.
was finally killed, it was like, oh, like, fucking finally. If he comes
Yeah.
back, that is going to be just really aggravating.
True. I'm just very excited. Like
I am
I
excited.
just want the copy of Iron Flame in my hand so I can have some questions answered, but I feel like it's just gonna leave me with more questions than anything.
Oh,
I
of course.
know
It's
for
going to
a
leave off on.
fact it's gonna leave off on like a worse cliffhanger than this because I don't even
Yeah.
feel like this is much of a cliffhanger because it's kind of
It's wrapped up, but it's also like, okay, what's next?
it's wrapped up, but it's not like this. If they would have left it of like, oh, we don't know if Violet's gonna make it, or like another character, like, oh, we don't know if like Zayden's gonna make it, then that's more of a cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger would have been if the knock on the door happened and it
And
was
then
like,
Fade to
we
Black.
don't know who it was. Like,
Yes.
welcome to the revolution. And then Violet was like, I couldn't believe my eyes. End of book.
That would have been like, who
Couldn't
is it?
stand
Like
it.
everyone's like,
Right.
that would have been.
She couldn't do that though. There would have been a riot. Like,
well, I guess that her brother was gonna come back.
I did.
Like
I thought
3
it was going to be
chapters
her
before he
dad
did.
or Zayden's dad. I thought it was going to be one of their dads.
Okay.
I was convinced that it was one of their dads. So
But
then it
if
was like her
she-
brother, and I was like, oh shit.
But if she did leave it off with like without us knowing, that's like a oh my gosh, what's gonna happen in cliffhanger?
Like, why would you do that to us?
Knowing that it's Brennan, he's part of the revolution, leave it there. It ended it nicely where it's like, oh, what could happen?
Right. What's
But
next?
I feel like the next one is going to leave on like a very violent, like Taryn's about to die or something, like something crazy, and then it's just going to be like
Don't tell
fade
me
to
that.
black. No, I don't. If Taryn dies, I think all 4 of them die. So I don't think anything's going to happen to him.
No. But also, we're all going to devour this book in a matter of days, if not day.
Yes.
Okay?
Day. Uh-huh.
I've taken off work. You said you've taken off work.
If my employer is listening, no, I did not. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's like we're going to devour this book, and Rebecca Yarros said that the next one is going to take longer because this one, it was too fast for her.
Yeah. Oh, like
She
writing
said
the
she had
third
to
one?
write. Yeah, she said she had to write like she won't space them out that close together again, and that she's gonna space them out forever.
I think it's going to be closer to like a year between each one. Because I thought it was a quick turnaround time from the time Fourth Wing was released to the time that Iron Flame is
May
being
to
released.
November.
That's very quick. If she didn't already have them done. Like, if she already had Iron Flame done, like, that's one thing. But
A year?
I could see it being a year.
It makes me want to wait to read it, but I can't wait to read it because
No, because it's going to be spoiled.
Everyone's going to ruin it.
That's what sucks. Like, you literally can't. Like, I've been dodging Crescent City and Throne of Glass spoilers like it's my job. I've been trying so hard to not see them. I'm like, if I don't recognize the characters in the fan art immediately, I'm like, nope. I'm not looking at it. I don't care who it is. We're gonna do it. We're gonna read Throne of Glass.
We're gonna get to it,
and then we're gonna read Crescent City.
It's just gonna take so long, and I hope that it's not hard to get into, even though I've heard people say that it's hard to get into in the beginning.
I've heard Crescent City is very difficult to get into because it's a lot of.
Yes, they said the
200 pages. They're like, oh, the first 200, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
That's a lot.
That's a lot to like power through.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's powering through.
No, and I think I told you this. Someone spoiled the ending of Crescent City 2 for me. And
No, you didn't tell me that.
I've never been warned. There was no warning on the beginning of the video. I was just like, oh, a video, let me watch it. And it was like the most this is the most upset I've ever been at Bookstagram. I was like, at least put in the caption, spoiler warning, on the video somewhere, spoilers for Crescent City. No.
ACOTAR, the transition from book 1 to 2 was spoiled for me like 50,000 times.
I knew what was going to happen in the rest of the series going into book 1 because I saw so many spoilers for it.
No, me too. So I picked up book 1, and whoever I was texting at the time, I think it was a friend of mine, Kat, on Instagram. I was like, okay, I know that I'm not supposed to, but like I kind of like him. And I was like, even though I know that it's gonna change, right? Yeah. But I was like, it sucks that like it's hard for me to like going in blind. I think I might have liked it a little bit better.
And since then, I've been trying to go into books blind because like I'd so much rather like experience it like I'm reading it for the first time instead of I've heard all these things about it. It's so frustrating.
I just want to know tropes essentially when I go into
me too. Give me like 2 to 3 tropes. I'm like, oh, that sounds like something I'd like to read. That's all I need to hear. I will not read the back of the book. I'm not going to read anything about the book. I'm just going to dive right into it. I will purchase it if you just tell me the 3 tropes that I need to hear.
Yeah.
Great. I'll buy it and I'll read it.
Cool. Enemies to lovers. I'll read it. Just enemies to lovers.
Here you go.
Here you go. I'd be like, okay, cool. She hates him. Okay, great.
Oh, where do I sign?
Scene? Give it to me.
Yes.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Okay, wait. We actually need to close out the episode. So.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
One real quick. Okay, the storm People thought it was her mom.
I
I
don't
don't
think it
think
was her
so. I
mom.
think we're gonna find out that somebody else has a storm signet.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I could see it.
I
I
think
just
we're
felt
gonna
like
find out.
it was kind of just a coincidence.
No, ain't nothing coincidental.
I think it was a coincidence. Because, like, I think it's meant to make you think that her mom's against her. Like, I think that's why it was put in there, but I think her mom is, like, on the side of the rebellion.
Okay. But yeah, that's the last one. I think that we're gonna find out that somebody else has a storm signet because they never say
That'd
that
be
it's
great.
rare. Like some signets they point out are like, oh, this is super
Rare.
rare, but they never
Yeah.
say that that one is rare. So
True.
that's where I'm at.
Well, that's all we have for this week. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at real_page turner.
To stay up to date on the episodes we'll be having, the things we'll be talking about, things we'll be doing, check out at bestfriend.bookclub on Instagram. That's everything. So I'll see you next
That's
week.
it.
Bye.
Bye.